Hello, mamas. Two of the biggest artists right now, of all time, maybe, not of all time, of right now, Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift, are like in a cold war. This is something that I usually would not give a single shit about and would not talk about, but it's blowing my mind how bonkers it is. And I think it's kind of like showing parts of the music industry that people never really talk about. The commodification of music, the commodification of art. It's really insane, and we'll get into what kind of war this is and why I said it was a cold war. But we have to bring it back. Also, I am in bed, and I was watching trail cams to relax of like trail cam sightings of wild animals. And it's maybe the only thing that helps me fall asleep anymore. And if I didn't have it, I maybe would have medical insomnia. So, Billie Eilish released her album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, a week ago. Taylor Swift released her album, The Tortured Poets Department, a month ago. I don't know. Basically, Taylor's album has been out first. Billie Eilish's album came out afterwards. Recently. Now, I understand that it's important for an artist to have a number one album. And if you don't know what a number one album is, I feel like no one actually gives a fuck about this other than maybe 10 people on Earth. But it's when every week the Billboard charts gather the albums with the most streams and buys, and then there's a number one song, and there's a number one album, and then there's other charts. There's a hot 100 chart. There's a bubbling under chart. All these little things to jerk off artists and their record labels to be you have the number one album. So what? Even though it does not fucking matter to me at all if the artist I'm listening to album is at number one. It probably, hopefully, doesn't matter to you at fucking all if the artist you're listening to has a number one album. So who does it matter to? I think obviously the artists. I can't lie. It would be cool to be a singer and you release an album and then it's number one, and you know that out of every song on earth, every album on earth, you have the biggest one. You have the number one album. You did it, baby. And of course to the record label and their management, because obviously more streams, more money, yada yada yada. But it's such a small amount of people that it benefits. Me just explaining capitalism. But it's such a small amount of people that benefit from it. But to get a number one album or record is not it's not natural, I guess is what I'm saying. Every album that's number one for the most part has been almost hacked. These record companies and artists are hacking the damn music industry. And what I mean by that is you'll see nowadays when an artist releases an album, it's not just they throw that shit on Spotify and they're all right, go stream it. I don't give a fuck. No. They are making multiple versions. And listen, this is not a new thing. I feel the first time I was aware of this was when Lil Nas X released Old Town Road in what was that, 2019? And he released all these different remixes, and people were why is there 8 different versions of this song? Why have you recorded Old Town Road 8 different times? Why is there a slowed and reverbed version? What the fuck is going on, Lil Nas X? And then you realize that every single one of these versions counts towards the streaming as if it was one song. So boom, that's why Lil Nas X released 8 different remixes of The Horse in the Back. Why was BTS on one of them? What is that little guy, by the way? What was that little forest creature? I would like to know. I would like to be acquainted with. Same thing with you go on Spotify, and whenever there's a new song that's especially new songs from newer artists, they will release an EP of it'll be slowed and fucking reverbed, sped up, which normally you would find that on the bowels of SoundCloud or something, as it should. And by the way, it's not called fucking slowed and reverb, it's called Nightcore. And there should be a goddamn anime girl on the cover. What the fuck are we doing? So What's another example? There's like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. She released the Espresso EP. So there's Espresso double shot version, Espresso on vacation version, Espresso decaf version, Espresso mochappella version, and espresso version. Wait, what do these sound like? I'm so confused. I don't know what that one is. I can't play the whole thing. We're gonna get covered. Oh, that's literally just acapella. Honestly, I gotta give Sabrina Carpenter credit where credit is fucking due. That's so fun. These names are so fun. Double shot. I'm guessing double shot sped up. I'm gonna listen real quiet so y'all can hear it. But that's gotta be like Nightcore. Oh, I played the wrong one. Fuck. Oh yeah, double shot version is sped up. I like that. I like that record. Okay, that's kind of fun. But and listen, I don't have any fucking beef with slowed in reverb. That's not the point. It's just I find it funny how it's such a high, it's such a reward and such a esteemed thing to have a number one album when you can do it by literally hacking the system. It's not like how you would get a number one record where people had to like physically go out and buy a record at the record store and that counted as one sale. No, you can literally, I don't know if you saw, but like there's a new algorithm change where if you're listening to music and like say your playlist runs out, they will just play what's ever trending. It's they got rid of like the radio feature or like something that plays something similar to what you want. Why the fuck did that $1 Million Baby song come up every single time I finished a Kendrick Lamar song? Why the fuck does Lunch come up by Billie Eilish every single time I finish a playlist? It's crazy. And everyone is listening to the same thing. I don't know if it's like the record labels that are like pushing that. What the fuck? So, now let's get into the beef between Billie and Taylor. 24-year-old man in bed explaining the beef between Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish. So, it's obvious that Taylor Swift wants the number one album, and it's obvious that Billie Eilish wants the album. And you're gonna hear me pick a little bit of a side here, the side of Billie Eilish throughout this all, because hey, it's the week that Billie Eilish released her fucking album. Yeah, maybe she should have the number one album for that week, but I don't know if it's Taylor Swift herself or people on Taylor's team have released 6 different versions of her album this week alone. At that point, it's not, listen, it's not the first time that Taylor Swift has released like different versions, but doing that the week that Billie Eilish released her album is so crazy. Like, let her have her fucking moment. What the fuck are we doing here? So, let me like read some of the names. Also, I saw there was like side arguments on Twitter of people being like, so basically each different version of this album comes with like an extra live song, I think. So people were like, why the fuck do you have to buy an album 3 times to get 3 extra songs? That's insane. And I don't think these are on Spotify. So, by the way, every time you buy these, they count towards a sale, which I think if you listen to an album on streaming all the way through, I don't think that counts the same as buying the album. I'm not sure. What the fuck is in my hair? Is that lace? What the fuck is that? So, there's the Tortured Poets Department digital album plus My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys live from Paris. Full name of the album. The Tortured Poet Department standard digital album plus LOML live from Paris. And the Tortured Poets Department standard digital album plus the Alchemy X Treacherous mashup live from Paris. I've never seen an album title be a fucking run-on sentence. My English teacher would kill herself. And then I don't know where the other 3 versions were. And also I'm just literally going off of what Twitter said, but so Billie Eilish had to fucking fight back. Like, she was not giving up her number one album. So she lowered the price of her album to $5 on iTunes, which honestly, let's look at it. Let's look at it from like an ethical and a moral standpoint. Taylor Swift and her team want a higher placement on the charts. They want the number one album. So they release 3 more albums that are fucking identical. They just have the same song. Billie Eilish wants the number one album. So she lowers the price to $5. I'm not going to say anything on that or on their character or anything, but which of those 2 actions do you think would come from a kinder to their fans artist? Fuck, and boom, just like that, my address was leaked. And there's a bomb sent to my house from the Swifties. It's just it's such a arbitrary thing to put so much time and effort, and not to mention money into. Not so much on the Billie side, because obviously she lowered the album. She like kind of made it more accessible for people to buy. But to make your fans buy the same fucking album 3 times with the only thing that they're getting out of it is 3 bonus live recorded songs, that's a little silly to me. I'm sorry. It's a little silly to me. I understand that, like, a number one album is important, and actually I don't understand. There's probably so much behind the scenes stuff that comes from if you win or not win. What the fuck am I saying? If you get a number one album, it's the same thing where, like, if you get a Grammy, if you get an Oscar, if you get an Emmy, not only is it like better for your career and be like, I'm Grammy winning artist, Billie Eilish, but and you don't directly get money from it, but it raises your esteem. You're suddenly like an artist with a Grammy. Like, it's a big thing. So like being able to say, oh, I've had a number one album. I've had a number one album for this many weeks. It's like, I understand the value there. But what I don't understand the value is like, or what I don't understand is getting that at what fucking cost? At what cost? I know the cost. $15 if you buy all 3 live versions of the album. So, anyways. Now, before, I feel like most of this like beef could have been just chalked up to like they could have not even been aware of it. Like, I feel like Taylor Swift doesn't even know that they're just like spitting out bonus albums and shit. It could be chalked up to just like their marketing teams or their record labels like doing this. Like, they're not actually like fucking beefing with each other. But get this. Pour up your cup of tea, motherfucker, because we got beef, we got pork, we got chicken, we got fish, we got a secret 5th meat that we just invented for this. Okay, so in March, I'm paraphrasing off an article because I'm such a genius. Billie gave an interview which fans interpreted as calling out Taylor, yet Billie was quick to shut down those rumors. But since then, the singers have released respective new albums, which has people reigniting their alleged feud. So, in March 2024, Billie Eilish gave out an interview where she called out musicians for putting out multiple editions of their albums on vinyl and calling it a waste of resource. She didn't direct it at anyone, but there's one artist that I'm sure we can all think of that does this a lot and does lots of multiple vinyl versions. So much so that I have a cousin that's like an extreme Swiftie, and she went and visited my mom from like a different province, and I guess they didn't do all that much, but the one thing she was most excited for was to go to Walmart and get like the newest Taylor Swift vinyl version. And mind you, she already had multiple other versions, but she wanted like this new vinyl version. And you know, you can talk shit about like vinyl being like obsolete and unnecessary, and yes, obviously, like what Billie Eilish said was what the fuck did she say? I think she said something about like climate, or she called it a waste of resources. And yes, like if you want to be more carbon neutral, or you want less stuff, you want less participation in consumerism, you can just stream the fucking album. I think like people just, and I'm fucking guilty for this, but people buy records just to like buy things sometimes. No one ever buys. I feel like 90% of people who are buying records are not actually putting that thing on a record player and spinning it around. It's going on a wall. And I've done that a few times. So, like, I'm part of the problem. But it's not, like, a necessary thing. So, Billie kind of, like, called this out. And I also saw other people talking about how, or also Billie said it, I wasn't singling anyone out. These are industry-wide systemic issues, and when it comes to variants, so many artists release them, including me, which I clearly state in the article. The climate crisis is now, and it's about all of us being part of the problem and trying to do better. Sheesh, Billie concluded. And so I heard from like other people on Twitter being like, there's so many indie artists and like smaller artists that cannot get vinyl made because there's like literal vinyl shortages from how much like vinyl records Taylor Swift is pumping out. And listen, I think there's been times in the past where I like misunderstood Taylor Swift for things she would do to kind of like help the music industry as a whole. I believe like, I made this one tweet that was like so stupid and I got like almost like doxxed for it. I was like, I think it was when Billie Eilish, it was when Taylor Swift like took her music off of Spotify. I think I like said she was like greedy or something, and then that went over well on fucking Twitter. So, but no, that actually had a good effect because she kind of like pioneered or championed for artists' rights, especially in the streaming era. But this, I don't fucking know. I don't know that making so many variants of vinyl records to the point where like other artists can't get their vinyls made because there's no vinyl. Like, I don't know what the fuck vinyl is, but I guess they just can't make it. I don't think that's good. So, people obviously kind of thought she was directly alluding to Taylor Swift. And then she put out a thing saying, okay, so it would be awesome if people would stop putting words to my mouth and actually read what I said in that Billboard article. I wasn't singling out anyone. These are industry-wide systemic issues. And when it comes to variants, okay, I fucking read that already. I have a 3-second memory. So then Billie Eilish releases her album. Taylor Swift releases a bunch of different variants and bonus editions. And then just recently, Billie Eilish gave a interview on Station Head Radio. I don't know what the fuck Station Head Radio is, but she said, and this is completely separate from like, I think, the whole number one records and vinyl blah 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 drama that we've already experienced. But Billie said, doing a 3-hour show, that's literally psychotic. Nobody wants that. You guys don't want that. I don't want that. I don't even want that as a fan, she said. Even my favorite artists, I'm not trying to hear them for 3 hours. That's far too long. So there's 2 artists that are giving kind of 3-hour shows right now, apparently. Taylor Swift and Beyonce. And judging off of their previous back and forth, we can make an assumption. We can conclude that, that's probably based off Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour. And that's where the drama's at right now. Listen, I actually just watched this TikTok. I'm sure y'all have seen that guy on TikTok that does like the downfall of. He's like, I was the youngest person to graduate in Canada with a MBA, which I think is like a master's in business. I don't fucking know. What do I look like? And he usually does videos about like influencers and stuff, and then he did a downfall of Taylor Swift video, and I was like, oh fuck, well that's his last video ever. He's over, he's dead. Like ICBM missiles heading straight to his house as we speak. And he made these like these points, which for the first time in my life, I saw like Swifties kind of agreeing with him. And I'm just going to paraphrase what he said, and I might get some shit wrong, so whatever. Like, don't string me up in the street, don't hang me. But he was saying that the major problem with Taylor Swift's brand right now is that Taylor Swift is trying so hard to appear relatable and appear like your friend and create this parasocial relationship with her and her fans. She has literally invited her fans over to her house before for like, I don't know if it was I think to listen to an album or something. That's a very personal thing to do. You take her and put her in the same, like if you compare to Beyonce is the exact opposite. There's kind of like two types of like stardom that you can have. You can be relatable, or you can be so untouchable that like you attract people because you're like so mysterious. Think Beyonce, think Playboy Cardi. Like I can't think of the last time I saw Beyonce do an interview. I can't think of the last time I saw Playboy Cardi do an interview, and yet that makes us want to hear from them more. But on the other hand, you have Taylor Swift, who gains a lot of her value from being relatable and all that. And it's a paradox because she creates these like very personal pieces of work, and she almost markets them as, you know, I'm just like I'm just your friend, and I'm just a poet, I'm just a writer, I'm just writing about these like personal experiences. And it feels, I think, to a lot of Taylor Swift fans, very personal to them. And then you realize that this is someone who would never fucking hang out with you. Sorry. This is someone who is a literal billionaire who has 2 private jets that are constantly bouncing around to take her on 15-minute trips across the nation and across the world. This is someone who would never fuck with you at all. I'm so sorry. And I know that's hard to hear if you're like maybe like a Taylor Swift fan, but listen, there will be thousands of pop stars for millenniums to come who do this same thing, who have this like super personal connection with their fans, and then are just literally billionaires and business people, and it's all kind of like a ruse. And listen, this is me like really parsing over my thoughts. I'm like,
how can I wrap this up in a super positive way so that I don't get shot next time I see a Swiftie?
Like, what else would you do? Put yourself in Taylor Swift's shoes. You're that big, but you still want to create art. You still want to create music, and you're a genuinely good writer. You can't really write the music that Taylor Swift writes if you're so public about being a billionaire. Like, imagine Taylor Swift was on her Beyonce shit and like was so like you looked at her and marveled, and you were like, this is like a larger than life person. This person is so, I mean, which like a lot of people already do about Taylor Swift, but like there was no possible brain cell in your brain that could think like, oh, I could maybe be friends with this person. Taylor Swift would have maybe a different career, because I'm not talking like she's working at like Taco Bell or something, but I don't know if her career would be as big, because I think so much of her career is like built on the parasocial relationship with her fans. And I don't fucking know. Go watch his video. I'm scared now. I'm fucking scared. I'm scared that I'm like butchering what he said. By the way, I'm paraphrasing what he said. I'm actually greening the fuck out and getting too scared. That I feel like I've talked about Taylor Swift too long, and that's not gone over well in the past. So we're gonna wrap this bitch up. Let's read drama. No, let me wrap up the whole thing, and then we'll read the drama of the week. I really hope that artists, especially pop artists, stop just doing all these insane stunts to get the #1 album. This arbitrary thing that affects literally fucking no one and is just like a thing to say, I have the #1 album. Doesn't matter. Focus on making good Music that speaks to the soul. Not saying that they don't do that in their own music, but I think there's more emphasis put on having a hit album than, try new things. Get a little experimental. Fuck, I don't know. Let's read these week's drama. Today's drama comes from Basic Bystander 3132. If you want to submit your drama for me to read in a future episode, please comment it down below on the YouTube video version of this podcast, and please keep it 1 or 2 sentences, baby. Give me a question. Pose me a problem that you need me to fix, and I'll fucking try. Drama. My narcissist lesbian cousin who killed my guinea pig as a kid has a crush on me, and I'm afraid what to do when I'm around her because she disturbs me. What happened to hi and hello? Now we have my narcissist lesbian cousin who killed my guinea pig has a crush on me. So let's break that down. Narcissist why? Already avoid them. Avoid your local narcissist. Scary freaks. Narcissists, I've had the displeasure of being around a lot in my life, and very scary people. Lesbian, that's good. I don't know why I said it like that was like another thing we were like critiquing, like narcissist, lesbian, no. Cousin, has a crush on me, killed my guinea pig, So already, narcissists, get the fuck away from them. They killed your guinea pig. Get the fuck away from them. And they're your cousin and they have a crush on you. Get the fuck away from them. Tell your auntie, tell your uncle, whoever is responsible for that little freak, that they need to actually go to something, somewhere, some asylum, somewhere. I'm sorry, too, also, I should say. That's so uncomfortable. Okay, I'm reading the comments on that comment. They're saying restraining order. Yup. Tell both families. Yup. Honestly, if she killed her guinea pig, she'll probably do something and end up in jail eventually anyway. So, matter of time before she gets locked up. I'm sorry, though. Holy fuck. Keep your guinea pig safe. I thought it was being said. I love y'all. If you don't hear from me next week, the Swifties got me, and I love you. Take care. Goodbye, my sweet mamas. Bye.